Dear students, our today topic is drugs used in congestive heart failure. Okay, so congestive heart failure is also known as a heart failure or CHF. It indicates our heart can be completely fail. My simple question for you, so what is the reason for the heart failure? Okay, so anyone, if you know, so then you can answer. So what are the reasons so that can causes the congestive heart failure? Congest okay. Increased blood pressure, okay. Then okay, atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease, that is known as the okay, atherosclerosis or plaque formation in the blood vessel. Those blood vessel supply blood to the walls of the heart or cardiac muscles. Okay, good. So any other reasons then? हा गुड बेट. सोडियम लेवल जास्त झालं तरी बी हार्ट काम करू शकत नाही. ओके. देन various reason to cause the congestive heart failure. So regarding the definition, the congestive heart failure is a chronic condition so where the heart is unable to pump the blood. Okay, so CHF or heart failure, it is a chronic condition. So here the heart is unable to fail, okay, to pump the blood. So due to that, so in the heart failure, the heart cannot be filled completely or cannot be pumped completely. Okay, that is the systolic conditions of heart as well as the diastolic conditions of the heart was fail. So due to that, the demand of the organs or the demand of the metabolic tissues, that was fail, or the demand of itself the heart, so that cannot be fulfilled due to unable to systolic condition or unable to diastolic condition. So on that time the heart do not got the sufficient concentrations of the oxygen, so due to that it was the fail or further it unable to work. So that condition was known as the heart failure. Okay, 1 minute, sorry. Regarding risk factor, so as you already told, so that is the hypertension or elevated blood pressure is one of the risk factor, because so more blood pressure, so more workload of the heart is increases, as well as preload and as well as afterload, so that was increases. So these are the terminology comes under CVS. So due to increase the preload, so that can create certain pressure on the walls, especially in the ventricles, and as well as due to increase the afterload during the increased blood pressure, so where the muscles are failed to further contract, so that condition was known as heart failure. That can occur due to hypertension. In hypertension, preload as well as afterload can be increases, and preload means so the pressure at the end of the diastole. So when the heart was diastole, the ventricles are filled both left as well as the right. So whatever the pressure is present in the both ventricle, so that is the end of the diastole or end of the relaxations are filling. So that pressure was known as the preload. So regarding left ventricle, so that can containing the pure oxygenated blood. So where the pressure is about 120 to 130 mmHg, and in hypertension, so that pressure was increases in the left ventricle, so due to that the heart was fail. But regarding the right ventricle, so that pressure is about 25 mmHg, so that is known as the preload. And so due to this pressure in the left ventricle, certain resistance can be developed on the vessels or develop on the walls of the ventricles or muscles of the ventricles, especially in the left ventricle. So that peripheral resistance is known as a afterload. So during the hypertension, both preload as well as afterload is increases. So that can causes the failure of the cardiac muscle due to more workload. So that condition is on the reason for the congestive heart failure. So next one is the coronary artery disease. So that is nothing but the coronary arteries are the blood vessels. So they are originated from the aorta. So they are supply pure blood to the walls of the heart, or both, that is the walls of the atrium both as well as the ventricles. So those can got the oxygenated blood with the help of the coronary artery. If any atherosclerosis or myocardial infraction or clot in the coronary artery means, so that condition was known as the coronary artery disease. So due to coronary artery disease, the heart do not got the sufficient oxygen. So due to that, the heart was fail. Then another is the wall conditions. So that is the walls are there, both, that is the tricuspid valve as well as bicuspid valve, then pulmonary wall, then aortic walls. So any reason, so due to use of the antibiotics or any entry of the microbes, especially staphylococci, so where we can use in certain antibiotics. So due to that, so those antibiotics, when they are killing the staphylococci species, so they produce certain chemicals. So those chemicals, they can damage the especially tricuspid valve and as well as the bicuspid. So due to that, so those wall are fail. So due to failure of the wall or due to valvular diseases, due to various conditions, use of medications or entry of free radicals or hypertension or stroke or any other condition. So those walls are fail mean, then also the pumping capacity of the heart was decreases, or afterload preload on the ventricles is increases. So that is also one of the reason for to cause of the congestive heart failure. So next one is the other conditions like diabetes, thyroid disease, and as well as the obesity and certain type of allergy or hypersensitive reaction. So those are also responsible for to cause of the congestive heart failure. So regarding the symptoms, so that in the left side heart failure, the main symptoms is a cyanosis, because the left ventricle, so they are containing the pure oxygenated blood, and that left side part of the heart, they play important role in the to supply of the pure blood or oxygenated blood. If it is a fail, then our body do not got the oxygenated blood. So due to that, the person was suffering from the cyanosis. Before cyanosis, the person was suffering from the fatigue. So that is the unnecessary fatigue is there means, that is the chance of the deficiency of the oxygen in the muscles or in the organs. So then it is still continue, then the person was suffering from the cyanosis. Cyanosis nothing but it is the one condition in the particular part of the body, the deficiency of the oxygen can be taken place. So due to that, so that the skin or the palm or that organ, it look like a blue. So that is blue is nothing but blue part of the organ is nothing but that is the depositions of the carbon dioxide due to failure of the left side of the heart. So that's why in especially in our palm, they are look like a blue. If they are look like a blue means our body do not got the oxygenated blood, maybe any other reasons, or maybe left ventricular failure or left part of the heart failure. And other symptoms like tachycardia, increase the heart rate, because when organs demand was fail, automatically CNS increases the heart rate. So that condition was known as the tachycardia. Even the brain do not got the oxygen means, so that is under the confusions. Then as well as other symptoms are due to left sided failure is, that is the cough, crackles, then as well as wheeze, then blood tingled in the sputum, then as well as tachypnea. So that is a heartbeat, that is a lungs beat can be increases due to congestion in the lungs due to failure of the left side of the heart, because the left side was fail means the heart do not got the blood from the lungs. Then the blood can be accumulated in the pulmonary veins or in the lungs. So due to that, the lung we suffering from the congestion, and that condition was known as the trachypnea. Due to trachypnea or congestion, automatically the lungs beat can be increases, the rate of respiration was increases. So due to failure of the left, so if these symptoms are present in your body or your neighbor or parents or your patient, So that indicates, so left part of the heart can be failure or under the malfunction, and as well as the left are under the pain. So if the tingle pain is present in the left arm means that is also the indications of the congestive heart failure. And regarding the right sided failure, that is the fatigue is occurs, then as well as enlarge the liver and spleen, then the person was suffering from the GIT disorder because left side was failed, they do not got the oxygenated blood sufficiently due to fail. If it is pump means then only the blood can be filled, then only the blood vessels can be carried. If it is fail means still the blood can be deoxygenated blood can accumulated or left in the right side of the heart. So on that time all organs inside the deoxygenated blood can be accumulated. So then due to that we are suffering from the anorexia, then as well as complications of the GIT disorder like nausea, vomiting or GI discomfort. Then as well as the leg can be swell, that is known as dependent edema. If the left side was fail, that is the right side was fail means the oxygenated blood can deposited in the leg itself. So due to that the legs are under swell. So that is also indications of somewhere we are suffering from the congestive heart failure, or simply the jugular vein it is present in the neck that can be swell, that can be distant, or that size can be increases. So this jugular vein it carries deoxygenated blood from brain to the superior vena cava. If the right side was fail means that blood is deposited in the jugular vein from the brain. So that's why that can be distant, that size was enlarged. If the size was enlarged mean that is also indications of the early we are in the future we are suffering from the congestive heart failure. So these are the sign and symptoms of the congestive heart failure, main that is cyanosis, then fatigue, GI discomfort or congestion in the lungs or problem in the respiration, or especially there is a tingling pain in the left arm, that is the indications of the heart failure, or our organ do not got the sufficient oxygen due to unable to heart can be pump the blood. So these are the early signs and symptoms you can easily diagnose the congestive heart failure. And regarding the diagnosis, the heart failure can be diagnosed with the help of the electrocardiogram, that is ECG. With the help of ECG pattern, we can diagnose the CHF, then as well as echocardiogram. Echocardiogram means to hear or to study the heart sound, because heart is unable to quantitate mean the sound is also unable to produce. So due to that, we can easily identify with the help of the echocardiogram whether the heart was fail or not, or which part can be fails. Then as well as MRI, that is the 3D structures of heart, that is also helpful for diagnosis of CHF. Then stress test, because during the stress test, then the heartbeat can increases. Okay, generally when you are speed walking in the daily, if your heartbeat is more than 120, that indicates somewhere you are suffering from the congestive heart failure. So that test can be done by stress test. So during the stress test, the doctor they want to check the heart rate or echo after rapid running or exercise. So that is the test. Then as well as blood test. In the blood test, they are mainly targeted the BNP, that is the brain natriuretic peptide. So this BNP, it is one of the beneficial hormone. It is involved in the repairing of the heart as well as repairing of the brain. If the heart was fail means its secretion is increases. It is involved in the repairing of the walls of the heart. If its level is more in blood mean that indicates somewhere the heart muscles are failed. Due to that, the beneficial hormone was increases. Then as well as cardiac that is a catheterizations. So that is the one catheter is inserted through the arm into the heart. So that catheter can containing the opening that containing the camera. With the help of that camera, the doctor they want to know which part of the heart can be unable to pump or fail. So like that, the congestive heart failure can be diagnosed with the help of the various methods. So regarding the drugs which are used in the treatment of heart failure, they are mainly classified into three types, that is the positive inotropic drugs, then as well as vasodilators and miscellaneous drugs. So first one is the positive inotropic drugs. So these drugs, so they are mainly enhance the force of contraction. So in the congestive heart failure, the contractions of cardiac muscle was fail. So due to unable to contract, the heart can be fail or the person was suffering from the congestive heart failure. So here The positive inotropic means, so those drugs they enhance the force of contraction. Such drugs are known as the positive inotropic drugs. So these below drug, so they when they are administered, so they are mainly enhance the force of contraction, and the force of contraction is mainly depending upon the calcium, and calcium is the nutrition for the heart along with glucose, sodium and potassium. So as the calcium level is decreases, the contraction property of the cardiac muscle is also decreases. So that is known as the heart failure. And these positive inotropic drug, they enhance the source of the calcium in the cardiac muscle. So due to increase the concentration of the calcium in the cardiac muscle, they enhance the force of contraction. As the force of contraction increases, the pumping capacity of the heart is also increases. It means when we are having the deficiency of calcium in our food or regulations of calcium was fail, then also we are suffering from the congestive heart failure. If the calcium level is more than normal, then we are suffering from the cardiac arrhythmia. So that's why you always balance the calcium from the diet. Okay, with the help of the diet, so you can balance the calcium. So that was helpful for to prevent the bone problem as well as congestive heart failure. So once again, the positive inotropic drug, they are sub-classified into three types. That is the cardiac glycosides. So these are the herbal drugs. So they are the glycosides in nature. So example is in digoxin. So this digoxin, it is one of the main drug or first line drug commonly used for the treatment of the congestive heart failure, or it is the choice of the drug. If any kind of congestive heart failure, so that can treated with the help of the digoxin through a IV administrations. So that's why digoxins are cardioglycosides. So they are the one of the first line drug, and digoxin is also known as a cardiotonics. Cardiotonic means the drugs which can increase the force of contraction, but they do not increase the demand of oxygen. So as the functions of organ increases, the utilizations of oxygen is also increases. So here these digoxin, it increases the performance of the heart, but do not alter the demand or need of the oxygen before administrations of the digoxin. So what amount of oxygen is required for cardiac muscle, the same oxygen content is required for cardiac muscle after administrations of digoxin, even the force of contraction or working conditions of the heart is increases. So due to that reason, the digoxin is known as a cardiotonic. But administration of adrenaline, that is also increases the heart rate, but that adrenaline is not a cardiotonic, because adrenaline increase the force of contraction or performance of heart, also increase the demand of the oxygen by cardiac muscle. So due to that, the adrenaline, not only they are the vasopressor or cardiac stimulant, but they do not cardiotonic. But digoxin, it can increase the performance of heart without increasing the demand of the oxygen by a cardiac muscle. Due to that reason, the digoxin or cardiac glycosides, they are known as the cardiotonics. And here digoxin, it mainly enhance the force of contraction by enhancing the accumulations of calcium. Then second class, that is the beta agonist. So these drug examples are dobutamine, dopamine. So these are the X on beta 1, then as well as X on beta 2, and as well as X on the alpha receptors. So they are morely act on the beta 1 as compared to beta 2 and alpha. Examples are dobutamine and dopamine. So these drugs through a alpha receptor, they can decrease the blood pressure through alpha 2. Then as well as dobutamine, dopamine, they act on the mesenteric blood vessels. So due to that, the mesenteric blood vessels can be vasodilated by release or administrations of dopamine and dobutamine. So these mesenteric vessels, so they supply blood to the kidney. So whereas they are vasodilated, so here the more blood can be accumulated, then that blood can deposited around the kidney or around the nephron. Due to more blood available for the nephron is involved in the more filtrations of the blood. So due to that, more water can be excreted. So due to that, the preload afterload blood pressure was decreases by administrations of dobutamine and dopamine. So due to that, the dobutamine dopamine, so they are used in the congestive heart failure. And as well as the dobutamine, it is an emergency drug. So due to any shock or hypersensitivity reaction, the heart was fail. So that is also treated with the help of the dobutamine. Then the third class, that is a PD inhibitor, that is known as the phosphodiesterase enzyme inhibitor. So this enzyme is required for conversions of cyclic AMP into 5-AMP. Okay, so this enzyme is mainly involved in the metabolism of the cyclic AMP, and cyclic AMP is required for to increase the calcium concentrations in the cardiac muscle or any muscle. So where the cyclic AMP concentration increases, the calcium level is also increases. So where the calcium level is increases, the performance is also increases. So here, so this enzyme, it can decrease the cyclic AMP by enhancing its metabolism into 5-AMP. But the drug like Miliron and as well as the Emirinon, so these drug, they inhibit this enzyme. So due to inhibitions of this enzyme, the cyclic AMP cannot be metabolized, and due to that, the cyclic AMP concentration can increases in the cardiac muscle. Then also the calcium level is increases. Then finally the force of contraction was increases due to accumulation or increase the concentrations of the cyclic AMP. So due to this property, the PD inhibitor, so they are used in the treatment of the congestive heart failure. Then second class, that is the vasodilators. So they are once again sub-classified into four types. The first one is the once again PD inhibitors like Miliron. So these PD inhibitors, so they are also increase the cyclic GMP. So this cyclic GMP is a vascular smooth muscle relaxant, or it can relax the blood vessels. So due to that property, it is used as a vasodilators, are helpful for the treatment of the congestive heart failure. Because so as the blood vessels is dilated, the preload on the heart was decreases, or slowly the blood can vegetate to the heart. So due to that, the preload on the heart was decreases, that is helpful for to recover the heart or to treat the congestive heart failure. Then second one is the nitrates. Example is the nitropurosides, then hydralazine and nitrates. So these drug also increases the cyclic GMP by enhancing the guanyl synthetase enzyme activity. So that guanyl synthetase enzyme, it can convert GMP into cyclic GMP, that is the guanyl synthetase. So as the cyclic GMP concentration increases, it can causes the more vasodilation or relaxations of the blood vessel. So like nitropuroside, hydralazine and nitrates, so they are helpful for the treatment of the congestive heart failure by decreasing the preload as well as afterload. Okay, so due to vasodilatations. Okay, and these nitrates, so they are the emergency drug as compared to desoxins. So these nitrates only, they are keep in the under the tongue during the congestive heart failure. The cost of the nitrates is simply around 1 rupees only, but it is the life saving drug. When the congestion is occurs, when the heart was fail, within few seconds, around 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, the person was die. If on that time, if you are keeping nitrates under the tongue by sublingual route, immediately fractions of second, the person was recovered from the heart failure. So when the pain is occurring in the heart, that is known as the angina. So on that time, you can use the nitrates under the trunk. So that's why the nitrates are the first line drug for treatment of the heart pain or angina. So they are also used for the treatment of the congestive heart failure. Then third category, that is the loop diuretics like furosemide, thiazide. So they enhance the excretions of water along with the sodiums or many other minerals. So that property is helpful for to decrease the preload, overload, afterload on the heart. So due to that property, the heart can be relaxed, it can work the properly due to decrease the preload as well as the afterload. Then AC inhibitors like captopril. So these drug, they are inhibit the formations of angiotensin 2. So angiotensin 2, it also involved in the enlargement of the ventricles. The ventricle size can be increases by remodeling of the ventricles. So due to more afterload on the ventricles, especially left ventricles, when the pressure was increases or afterload is increases, so that left ventricle they can undergo the repairing process, or they can undergo the excess formation of tissues are known as the hypertrophy. So due to hypertrophy, the size of the left ventricle can increases under the influence of angiotensin 2. So angiotensin 2 is also one of the main hormone or autokine involved in the left ventricular failure or to cause the hypertrophy, are also known as the enlargement of the ventricles. So here the AC inhibitors like captopril, they inhibit the formations of that is the angiotensin 2. Like that, they can specially they can treat the enlargement of the heart or to decrease the size of the ventricles, especially left ventricular failure. Okay, so next one is the miscellaneous drugs like B, once again classified into two types: beta blockers and aldosterone antagonist. Beta blockers like examples are metoprolol, bisoprolol, and carvedilol. Then here the bisoprolol is commonly used. After that, the carvedilol is used and metoprolol. Okay, so these drugs, so they are block the beta activity. So due to that, they can decrease the blood pressure. Okay, so due to act on the beta 1 receptor, so they can decreases the blood pressure. So decrease the blood pressure, so they can decreases the, that is the once again afterload and preload. As well as beta blocker, they can inhibit the release of renin, because renin is required for the formations of angiotensin 2, and beta blocker, they are block the beta 1 receptors, because beta 1 receptors or adrenaline acts on beta 1 involved in the release of renin. So that renin is required for the formations of angiotensin 2, and here the beta blocker, they block the beta 1 activity. So due to blocking of beta 1 activity, the renin cannot be formed. So lack of renin, the angiotensin 2 cannot be formed. So due to that, the beta blocker is also used for the treatment of the hypertrophy of the left ventricle or failure of the left ventricle along with the AC inhibitors. Okay, so next one drug is the, that is the aldosterone antagonist. So as you know, aldosterone enhance the accumulations of body fluid. So as the body fluid is increases along with electrolytes, the load on the heart is increases. If the load on the heart is increases, heart is fail due to increase the preload as well as afterload, especially preload. Okay, so here the aldosterone antagonist like spironolactone and epinephrine. So these are antagonize the activity of aldosterone on a nephron. So due to that, they are decreases the body fluid, okay, or blood fluid. So due to decreased blood fluid, the preload on the heart that was decreases. So as the load is decreases, automatically heart can be relaxed and it can start to properly work. So like that, the spironolactone and epinephrine, so they are used as in the treatment of congestive heart failure. Among two, the epinephrine, it is having the good result. It is helpful for treatment of the congestive heart failure. But precautions regarding the diuretics, so when the person's having the edema, or edema is a risk factor for congestive heart failure, so on that time you don't go for the loop diuretics and aldosterone antagonist, and always you can monitor the plasma fluid levels. Okay, so next one, so regarding the ideal treatment for congestive heart failure, so this is the ideal treatment, so that is written in the short form, that is the unload fast. You should be remember. So that is the first, that is U stands for upright position. So we can insist to the patient go for the exercise in the upright. Okay, in the primary school you are making the upright positions in the exercise in the early morning in the yoga or mini classes. So that upright positions of the hand is helpful for treatment of the congestive heart failure. This is the first line. And second, that is the N stands for nitrates. So the nitrates, so these are the vasodilators. They can dilate the blood vessel. Then they are helpful for treatment of congestive heart failure by decreasing the preload on the heart. Then Lasix, Lasix is nothing but they are containing the diuretics. So they can excrete the excess of the fluid from the body, they are also used for treatment of the congestive heart failure. Then oxygen therapy, that is that during a heart failure, you can use the artificial respiration emergency. If you're having the oxygen cylinder, then there is no doubt. If there is no availability of the oxygen supply or incubator, so on that time you can use the artificial oxygen, that is mouth to mouth touch. So that phenomena is also helpful for the treatment of the congestive heart failure. Next one is the ideal drug, that is the AC inhibitors like captopril, lisinopril or minipril, because these drugs they are inhibit the ventricular remodeling or ventricular hypertrophy, especially the left ventricles. So due to hypertrophy, the pressure was that much was not created to pump the left ventricle. So due to lack of pumping, the heart was failed due to enlargement of the ventricles. So that was treated with the help of the AC inhibitor. So that's why the AC inhibitors also commonly seen in the prescriptions of the those drugs, they are used for the treatment of the congestive heart failure. So next one is that is the choice of drug, that is the digoxin. It is the ideal drugs. It is always used, but you can take the precautions, because if the digoxin is excess in the blood, it can cause the digitalis toxicity, or it is participate in the cause of the cardiac arrhythmia within fraction second. Actually, the digoxin in the plasma level is 2 nanogram per deciliter. If it is 2.1, then the cardiac arrhythmia occurs, then patient was die. If it is less than 2, then also the heart was fail, or the digoxin cannot be treated the congestive heart failure. So that's why when you're giving the digoxin, always you can monitor the plasma concentrations of the digoxin, but the digoxin is the life-saving drug for the congestive heart failure. But you also aware about the digitalis toxicity when you are administered, when you are taken your patient towards the hospital, where you can insist or give the advice to the doctors or nurses regarding the digitalis toxicity. Unnecessarily, you do not give the excess of digoxin. Once you give as per schedule is there, or digoxin protocol is there, is available in the online or many other medicine site. So according to that protocol only you can administer according to body weight, or associated conditions is also there. So where they can mention if the person having congestive heart failure along with kidney failure, then they are mentioning the protocol. How much drug can given initially, immediately, that is known as the loading dose, and after that how much can administered throughout the day, that is known as the maintenance dose. So that was every they are mentioned. So according to that only you can insist to the doctor. Otherwise, the patient was die due to digoxin toxicity instead of the congestive heart failure. So because you are the ideal pharmacist or highly qualified pharmacist, you have the protocol regarding the drugs. Then other, that is the fluid can be decreased. So for congestive heart failure, there is a control on the intake of the fluid. For congestive heart failure, the person should be take about 1 to 2 liter per day only. Actually, you are insist to you take 5 liter per day for health. But congestive heart failure, or if you having the pain in the chest, or your parents having the pain in the chest or left arm, so where you can control the fluid intake, that is you can advise to them only take 1.5 to 2 liter per day, because if the fluid intake is more means the blood volume is increases. If the blood volume is increases means automatically the preload or the overload on the heart was increases. So that is also responsible for further to cause of the congestive heart failure. So that's why you advise to them take the fluid 1.5 to 2 liter per day. Then as well as to decrease the afterload, so with the help of the vasodilators, okay, so they can helpful for to decrease the afterload by relaxing the cardiac muscle. So due to relaxation of cardiac muscle up to optimal, so they can decrease the afterload. The next one is the to control on the sodium intake. Always restrict to them to intake of the sodium. Always to institute to them avoid the sodium or sodium salt. Instead of sodium salt, you can decrease the content for them. Those are suffering from the congestive heart failure, or some people they having the habit they take the over sodium after the food, so they can avoid. Then as well as to monitor the test, that is the, regarding the digoxin level and as well as the potassium level, they can cause the toxicity. So these are the ideal treatment for the congestive heart failure that you can remember as the name unload fast. Okay, thank you. So in the next class we can discuss regarding the pharmacology of the drugs. So those are used for the treatment of the congestive heart failure. If you have any doubt,